Today we are going to go through a new chapter in history, which is about the Egyptian civilization. In the previous chapter, we had learned about an important civilization which was known as the Mesopotamian civilization, and this time we are going to learn about a different form of civilization that was established in different part of the world, which was known as the Egyptian civilization. Now we are going to study about what are the important things that prevailed during this civilization or during the existence of this civilization, and how it gave importance into the development of human life, or what was its contribution, or the civilization contributed towards the development of the society or towards the whole world human development. Now, before understanding, we have to understand what was the actually, or where does this Egyptian civilization exactly exist, or where it was established. According to the world map, Egypt is exactly located just above the Arabian states. Just above if you see the Arabian states, you'll find near to the Arabian states, you'll find just above the African continent, you will find this a small country which is known as Egypt. Now, Egypt was located near the river Nile. The river Nile, it is said that it played a very important role into the lives of people. So, in this chapter, we are going to learn various important things that are related to the Egyptian civilization. Now, let us see, as I have marked it here, what are the different things that we are going to learn. We are going to study about the importance of river Nile, why river Nile was important for the Egyptian civilization. Then we are going to learn about why river Nile was called as the gift, Egypt was known as the gift of Nile. Why the river Nile was a gift for the Egyptian civilization. Then we are going to learn about the importance of river Nile that was there for the people of Egypt. Then the existence of desert, why the existence of desert, and what was the importance of the existence of desert, how they helped people during that period, and the beliefs and thinkings of the people, or the religious activities of the people during that period. Then we're going to learn about important construction or architectural figures or constructions that were made during this time, which still has a very historical importance into human mankind. Now, and the important kingdoms that important part into which the whole society or the kingdom was divided into. Then we are going to go through in this chapter about the main characteristics, where we are going to learn about the town planning of the Egyptian civilization, how town planning was done, in what way it was planned. Then the buildings, which was separated into two important parts, that is the dwelling house and the public houses. Then the architectural and engineering. Then we have society, then family life, then food, dress, occupation, religion, and what are the important achievement of the Egyptian civilization. That means what all theories they brought about, not only in regarding to religious or day-to-day practices, but also in scientific developments, what all important things they developed, which is still found to be important or very significant, significantly used in modern times too. And then how the Egyptian civilization declined. So these are the important topics that we are going to touch in this particular chapter. Now today, we are going to discuss about the introductory part of the Egyptian civilization. Now this civilization had played a very important role in bringing about many changes or many significant changes into the lives of people. Now this Egyptian civilization, as you will find into the geographical map, that it is located in such a place where the temperature or the condition of the weather is quite high. That is why the existence of one single river, that is the main important stream of river, which was the river Nile, plays a very important role into the lives of the people of Egypt. And that is why, because of the sourceful usefulness of this river Nile, it is regarded as the gift of Nile. There are various important reasons why it is so called. Now let us go through the reasons why this river is called the gift of Nile. Now, due to its various important uses or various important productive uses, that from where the only source of mainstream of water supply was there for the Egyptian people, and they could get various important things that were required for them. The most important is the water supply. To sustain in day-to-day life, water is very important component. So water supply was uh, very much essential, which was given by the river Nile. Then we have irrigation for farming, for cultivation, agricultural activities. The supply of water from the river sources were channelized towards the agricultural land, and this irrigation system help people to produce crops. Then we have food sources. Various aquatic food like fish and other etc. were taken out from this river Nile, and they were used as food sources. Then you have transport. How transport? Because it was seen that in most of the civilization you will find this. In most of the civilization you will find wherever there was river sources, you will find those river sources were importantly used for transportation. That we studied in Mesopotamian civilization also. Why? Because land transport during the time technology was not there. So land transport moving from one place to another for a long distance of time was very time consuming, and on that basis it was very tiring also. But river sources were such that it used to flow, and when it used to flow they did not need require human strength, so it carried them easily, and it was convenient from them to travel faster also from one place to another. So river were very important sources of transportation. Then you have trade channels. Trade channels means when they were able to move from one place to another in a different ways, it was easier for them to go and communicate with other part of the world and bring about trade and business relationship with others, so that these people could more and more have communication thing, and for that reason only business and trade and all those relationships started increasing, and it helped them to bring about various important changes into the lives. So these are the very important thing that were there, which depicted or said about the importance of river Nile for the Egyptian civilization people. Now, the existence of desert. There are a few important deserts that existed in the Egyptian civilization or the in Egyptian territory. Number one is the Sahara Desert. Then you have the Western Desert. Then you have the Eastern Desert. Now, these deserts were very hot, and it was full of sand, and walking there also it was very hard. So, what was the benefit of this desert for them? Now, this desert during that time they acted as of barriers. Barriers means they were obstructions for the other invaders to come in. It was very hard and difficult for them to walk through those desert areas and come and invade the Egyptian civilization. And that is why it is said, because of that reason only, the Egyptian civilization people were very safe and peaceful. They lived in very peaceful environment for a very long period of time, because of these barriers that were around them, which was very hard during that time to be crossed so easily. It was not so convenient, it was not so easy to cross them. So they acted as a great barriers and they saved the Egyptian civilization people from foreign invasions. Then the belief which states about that the Egyptian civilization people, they had a very strong belief in life after death. Now what does it mean? The word itself states the meaning in it. Life after death means what? A person when he dies, then they believe that the person again reborn. He or she gets reborn again. So this belief is practiced in such a way, and it has been found, or it has been recognized by the historians, or excavated, and they were proved by the historians. How? Because there were various important things as a burial they excavated, where various important things were kept around the bodies of the around the dead bodies, which were very precious, important, and they depicted about as to some kind of belief or practice the Egyptian civilization people had during that time. And the existence of these important things around the dead bodies told that those dead bodies were that those things around the dead bodies were mostly because they believed that the person who has died will be reborn again in some other part of the world or somewhere else, and he would not have difficulty in his living process during the other birth. So to make his life convenient or self-sufficient, give those things with the dead bodies. So this process of burial or cremating a person under the ground by the Egyptian people states that these people, they believed in life after death. Now the next is about the kingdoms, about how importantly it is said that we have seen in our other chapter also in Mesopotamia that the whole society is divided into various different parts or groups according to their own hierarchy. Here the society or the kingdom was divided into two important parts. One was known as the upper class or the upper part of the town or city, and one was known as the lower Egypt, or the lower part or the lower citizens where people or the normal common people used to live. Now upper Egypt stated for, or it was reserved for those people who were related to kingdoms or kings or nobles or officials who were important towards the kingdom. So those people used to live in the upper Egyptian part, and the lower Egypt was towards the lower part of the territorial extent where most of the people who were general public, they used to live. Now these both differences or the division of the part of the Egypt also has importance because they both had different geographical areas in the same territory. So, but the most important thing that prevailed during the time is the existence or the prevalence of the river Nile, which helped them into a very large and greater extent for to sustain their life and to do various different activities into their day-to-day life. Now, here in the next part that we are going to learn in our next class is about the main characteristics of the civilization. Now, what were the important things that prevailed or the practices that the people of Egyptian civilization did? The food, the clothing, the dress, their architectural thing. Now here, in life after that, when I was speaking about what I am speaking, we'll also come to know about an important existence. That is the existence of important people called as pharaohs. Pharaohs were nobody but the head of the Egyptian civilization, or you can say the king who ruled the whole Egyptian civilization. Pharaoh was also entitled this name to be considered to be the representative of God. Now, because of this process only, it was said that when pharaohs they died, they were kept in pyramids, a triangular form of construction, high pyramids you might have seen in pictures or any photos in any place or books. That pyramids are of triangular shape, a large triangular shape which was constructed during that time in earlier period, and these pharaohs were buried inside, or they were kept inside, wrapped in a proper cloth, medicated clothes with important things, important materials, which they could use in when if they are born in the next life, because they considered a king died is born reborn again as a king itself. So they thought that these things when he is born as a king will not be sufficient for him to bring about a further development or further changes as he was living, same way he would be living in this next life. So for that pyramids were constructed. Still now we have this existence of pyramids which has its own importance, which has its own magical kind of calculative, constructive, architectural formation, which is still a mystery as to how these people during the time without modern equipments or any modern thing or any measurement, particular form of measurement, exactly made a shape of a pyramid that existed during this time. So these were, and there were other constructive buildings also like temples, monuments, which depicted about their architectural and their skills of the people during that time, which they constructed without the availability or any kind of modern equipments. Now we have lots of modern equipment or things that are used for constructing road, tractors or such kind of machines are there which automatically mixes everything and it rolls over the roadways and it constructs. Very less manpower are required now, but earlier it was not such. The total construction whatever is to be required to be done were done by the manpower, their own skills, their own knowledge, thinking by themselves. So it holds a very important theory or a thing that gives certain kind of construction, a word or a historical significance which is still preserved till now, and which is still is a mystery for most of the people as to how significantly it was created. But still, it is a part of history, and it existed, or it still exists today. So here in the main character, we are going to learn about some of the important town plannings that were there, done by these people. Then the buildings that were there, the architecture, the important constructions that they did, then the society, how the society was exactly divided into various parts. Who were the important people who played important role in this society? Then about the family life individually, how they did, whether the women were given equal rights and opportunities compared to the men or not. We'll be studying this in this particular topic. Then food habits that were there, and the dressing style or the dressing sense. It has a unique form. When you'll go through this particular topic, you'll find there was a unique form of dressing by the Egyptian society. Okay. Then we have occupation, that is the trade and business relationship or activities that were there by the Egyptian civilization. Then we have religion. A small part we have already discussed about it, that is the life after that process. It also is related to the religious part of this topic. Then we have the achievements of important scientific achievements, society kind of achievements, which are still significant and important today. And then how did this Egyptian civilization or the later part of the history got declined. So these are the few various other topics that we are going to discuss in our next class. So I hope that everybody is secure and safe at their homes. Be safe, be secured. This is for only for today, and we'll be continuing this chapter with the other topics of the same chapter in our next class. Thank you very much.